morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Everyday ADV. In this episode, we'll be installing the Throttle Punk's skid plate. During this installation video, you'll learn how to install the Throttle Punk's skid plate on an Ibex 800T. So to remove the stock skid plate from the Ibex, you need a 10mm socket and a 5mm Allen wrench. The 5mm Allen wrench will be used to remove the screws from the plastic side protectors. They don't do much, but there are protectors on each side. On the front, you'll have some Allen wrench, 5mm Allen wrench bolts up top. And then on the bottom, you'll have 4 10mm bolts to remove. Now the Throttle Punk's skid plate, or engine cover, as it's called in the installation guide here, is much sturdier. It comes with multiple parts to add in the protection. The skid plate itself covers further back down the engine of the bike to protect parts that weren't previously covered. The side protection is also much beefier, and this protection extends farther up as this piece here mounts above. In the kit, comes with the skid plate or engine cover, side panels left and right, a large console, small front and rear consoles, one grid, 4 silent blocks. It comes with 10 6mm half round head screws, 4 countersunk M6 screws, and 4 M6 hexagonal head screws, and finally 8 M6 nuts. Okay, tools for this installation will be a 5 and 6mm Allen wrench. I've got a socket as well for a 6mm, a 13mm socket, and a 10mm to remove those bolts. Also some Loctite. Step 1 in the installation process is to loosen this bracket. It's a 13mm bolt. You have to depress your brake lever in order to get in there. There you go. So next step is we're going to remove this bracket that held the original skid plate. There's 4 bolts that need to be removed. One here, one on the opposite side, and 2 on the bottom. That's going to be an 6mm Allen wrench. Down below, I previously stated it was 6mm, but it's actually 5mm. We'll go ahead and remove those. Okay, next step in the installation process is to install the 4 silent blocks. There are bolts with rubber mounts that you're going to mount your skid plate into to help keep the impacts quiet. I'll simply screw into the 4 bottom mounting points. This is what the finished installation of the silent blocks looks like. Okay, so the next step is to find your brackets. There's two of them, a larger one and a smaller one. These brackets will mount the skid plate to the motorcycle, and the arrows need to point forward. Okay, these are the brackets mounted. You have to use a 4mm Allen wrench or Allen socket to mount the bracket. Again, be mindful that you're mounting this bolt into a rubber mounted nut. On the left and right side of the Ibex 800 are brackets. These brackets are what hold your crash guards on. There are two 6mm bolts that hold these brackets on. We have to loosen those so that we can slide a piece in between the bracket and the engine mount. Okay, lesson learned. T-handle, best tool for this. It allows you to just barely move the hose out of the way, get into the bolt, and turn it. You want to loosen it a few turns, enough that you have enough play that you can slide the bracket in between. We'll do the same thing on the other. On an additional note, I am installing the Throttle Punk's crash guards after this, so crash guards are not installed. If you are keeping the stock crash guards, you're going to need to loosen this bolt that holds the crash guards onto this bracket so that you can have some maneuverability. After those brackets have been loosened, the next step is to take the new mounting bracket and you're going to slide it between the bracket and the engine mount. There is a cable tie mounted onto this bracket. It holds these cables right in this region. You have to cut that, and this mount slides right in. No problems at all. Okay, so now that bracket is all tightened up, and in the instructions says you want to have a centimeter of, jump to the other side, centimeter gap between the pipe and the bracket itself. Mounting these bolts to the bracket is going to be done with 4mm Allen head, Allen wrench. We go ahead and put a little Loctite on these. Doesn't matter. Yep, one. Okay. I'm going to try this from the left-hand side of the bike. Right-hand side didn't allow any visibility. Good. Well, that was frustrating, but a little bit of perseverance got it off. These two bolts are in. We'll install the back two bolts, which are lined up. That's nice. So I'm a little rusty on my Czechoslovakian. So what I previously said in the video was that you were going to use this bracket and attach this bracket to it. Oops. This bracket and attach this bracket to it on this end. Wrong. So you'll take that bracket completely off and it will mount with the 13mm bolt. And then you'll have 2 Allen bolts with nuts that you're going to need to mount down here on the bottom. To finish the tightening process, take a wrench, see if you can weasel it in there, and tighten them up. So from here on out, it looks like we're going to be spending a lot of time with a 4mm Allen and a 10mm wrench or socket, whatever you can use to get into small spaces. This is probably the biggest space you're going to have. And you'll just tighten it on there on both sides. Okay, next step is mounting this grill. It's going to mount right here. We have to remove this, that 10mm bolt and that 10mm bolt to mount them up. Pro tip, start on the left side of the bike because the rubber grommets line up better for the radiator and make your life easier when switching to the right side of the bike. And then you can tighten everything up, no problem. All right, next step is you want to take 2 more bolts, 4mm Allen, and install them here. And here. All right, so a day is never complete without a good set of frustration. The 2 bolts in the middle are supposed to have 4mm Allen bolts in them. Don't line up. I loosened the top bolts, took them all out, started the bottom bolts, and did every potential step that could get them to line up. Nothing works. Check the instructions again. This is the way that it's supposed to be. Tighten up the radiator bolts. Those 2 should be lined up, but they're not. They're off by ½ an inch. Now the question, is it sturdy? As it is, let's see. It ain't moving. Behind this is a metal plate, if you remember. You can rewind a little bit, or you can see a little right there. I don't see this going anywhere, so it seems pretty stable to me. We'll see long term. Next step, final step for this side is to install the side cover. When it's installed, it'll cover this region. Pretty nice. Extra protection. All tight, all secure, much more protection than before. And finally, working on this side, we're going to install this bracket. It's going to be installed with a 10mm bolt. Let's see, right here, to the chain cover assembly. And that is right behind the shifter lever. Let's get in here. This plastic piece drops down, has a thread, and that's where you're going to thread into. That's on this cover right here. So that thread's on. You're going to do 2 more 4mm nuts, or bolts with 10mm nuts. And finally, last but not least, we're going to install this cover. It's going to give protection. All right, now we've completed the install, so let's talk about it. Am I happy with the product I purchased? Yeah, I think so. Much more protection. It is definitely going to save me on impacts. So happy with the product. No product is perfect. So things that I think could be better are the bolts. There was just enough to do the whole project. So I would like to have some extra. I'm prone to losing pieces, so extra always helps. The two bolts not lining up, super disappointing. I would have liked those to line up and be bolted in. Unfortunately, they're not. Does it seem sturdy? Yeah, sure. So that's good. 4mm Allen, I don't like that. I would have liked it to be something I could have got a little more bite onto. The silencers. I'm not super stoked about the rubber mount, but it is what it is. Only time will tell how it performs, so I'll do a follow-up on all these products at a later time. Thanks for watching.